Welcome. This is a presentation from DIY Marketing, where we say, yes, you can. Now, roll up your shirt sleeves and get out your elbow grease. You're going to learn how to become a dynamic DIY marketer.
Hi, I'm Lauren Darr coming to you for DIYmarketing.tv, and we're going to talk about capturing your creative ideas. I know how it is when you get an idea and it seems like those ideas always come to us at an inopportune time, like when we're in the shower and we have a ton of shampoo in our hair and we know that it's the greatest idea in the world, and as soon as we get out of the shower, our mind's going to wander and go to something else, and we're going to lose that idea, and you will bang your head against the wall trying to remember it over and over and over again. But if you had that experience, you know that once you get a really good idea like that, you need to capture it right in that moment in time. So I'm going to share with you some of the things that I do to capture those ideas. And it's just kind of a bulletized, randomized list, and I have some examples to show to you. One thing I do is, because maybe it's something about the water flow or something, I don't know, but in the shower I get lots of ideas. And so I keep in my shower actually dry erase crayons, and you can use dry erase markers. Now make sure it's not tile. If you have one of those showers that has the white laminate, it's like a dry erase board. So I use that to capture my ideas when I'm in the shower, and I'll write things down. What I do later is either go and copy those notes down on a notepad of paper, or I take a picture of those notes and have that transcribed. I will warn you though, you need to make sure that you take that picture or copy those notes down right away. Otherwise, they could be erased either by whoever's cleaning the restroom or by your kids that come in and they decide they're going to draw a picture all over the wall. So be forewarned that if you capture ideas that way, make sure you make that backup copy pretty quick. Another thing that I do is carry a little notepad of paper in my purse and or briefcase. So as I'm in a meeting, or if I'm kind of out in public somewhere and something generates an idea for me that I really need to get down on paper, I grab this little notepad, I flip it open, and I write something on it really quick. And that's the convenience of something like this. It's great if you can find a notepad like this one that happens to have the pen with it, because inevitably, if you do carry around a notepad, you might be looking for a pen. So keep that in mind also. Now, another thing that I do is I have this notepad, one of these in my house, just kind of get random sketch pads that have the paper, and I tend to write ideas with a Sharpie. There's something about having a Sharpie in my hand that makes me feel a little bit more creative. So I use that also. Another thing to think about is your phone. I happen to have an iPhone, so it's very versatile for me. And if I'm in a situation where I can't necessarily write something down, but I can talk, I can go to the app on my iPhone, switch through it, hit the voice memo button, and I can talk into it. Now I do that if I get an idea for an article or something for the book, and that's for things that are a little more lengthy. The iPhones also have the note-taking capability on them too. So if you get in a pinch, you can use it for that. Another way I use my phone, but I used to carry a camera, but now phones have cameras on them, is if you're walking around a store or somewhere in nature or a park or anywhere like that, and you get an idea, I take a snapshot of whatever it is that has inspired me. For example, I'm kind of a nut for type fonts. And if I see a sign that's got a really neat font that I think, hey, I might want to use that for something later in time, I want to try and find out what that font is or something that's close to it or matches it, or even if I just like the style of an ad or a sign or something like that, I'll take a picture of whatever that is so that I have it for later use. Another thing that you can do is use the video function on your phone. If you see something that's inspiring in another way, but it requires motion, grab that phone, or if you happen to have a video camera with you, and shoot that video so that it gives you that inspiration later in time. A couple other things that are a little bit of a crazy thing that I do that took my husband a while to get used to this, but when I worked in a corporation, I would call myself sometimes in the middle of the night, especially if it was a crazy trade show season, and call myself with a voicemail at work and remind myself to do something or remind myself of an idea. Or I would send myself an email. Those are a couple things that I do. Some people think they might be a little wackadoodle, and that's fine. But another thing is that when you're in a restaurant, especially if you're having a nice dinner and you've got a bottle of wine and you're with colleagues and you're talking about where things are and what the current environment is and new and creative ideas, inevitably you'll come up with one of those lightning bolt of an ideas that strikes you pretty quick. And worst case scenario is to grab that napkin there at your table and just start writing on that so that you capture that information. Otherwise, for some reason, it seems like we just forget it and that stuff goes out of our mind. And I don't know that this is a good idea or not, but the absolute worst case scenario, I guess, is if you're in a restroom and have a great idea, maybe you could use the toilet paper, but that's going to require having a pen. I can't say I've ever done that before, but hey, if it helps you capture that idea that's going to end up making you $1 million, go for it. The key is making sure that you get those ideas down on paper or on virtual paper and remind yourself of them at a later point in time so that you have them to work with in order to develop whatever idea or solution or product it is that you're wanting to develop at a later point in time. If you have any questions or comments, or even if you have a creative way that you come up with ideas and you capture them, send those in on the website. We'd love to hear from you. And I am Lauren Darr for DIY Marketing TV. Thank you for joining me.
This has been a presentation of DIY Marketing. Thank you for joining us. Now get out there and market, because oh yes, you most certainly can.